Good day, fathers. When I wrote, or rather when I came up with this idea of this particular podcast, I've been an advocate for fatherhood for a very long time now. And I've always had a desire to have a space where, as men, fathers, we can speak our truth and everything. Now, I wrote a piece, because as this is our first episode, I wanted to introduce what is this podcast all about? What is that we are saying? What is that we want to say? And as I wrote it, I realized, my goodness, if I become an actor and try to perform it, I'm going to miss certain things that I wrote on this particular monologue. So I chose, let me rather read it, for you. Hopefully that way, the message that I'm trying to put across will be heard per line, per sentence that I wrote, per comma, per all the punctuation that I put on this particular monologue. So here's how it goes. They say we are absent, that we run, that we don't care. But before you call a man missing, ask who moved the ground beneath his feet. They took our land, our labor. They took our names. They scattered us across provinces, across Africa, across the world, put us in compounds and made us strangers to our own children. And then they had the nerve to ask, where were you? My name is Fumani Nshulwana. I'm a father of 3 kids, and I am sure of it. And I'm the host of this particular podcast. Now, welcome to the Father's Chair, a space where we reclaim our stories as men, as fathers, as sons. This is not a podcast about blame, even though we will touch on a couple of double standards and stuff that go against men and fathers. It's about truth, about legacy, about healing. We're shifting the lens from the stereotype of men who are absent or present but emotionally disconnected, or even willing fathers blocked from their children, to the reality that there are men who are present, consistent, and are deeply committed to the fatherhood cause. Every week I'll sit down with men from across South Africa, the globe, and Africa, young dads, old ones, the broken ones, the brave, the becoming, to hear what is their reality of being a father. So, whether your father was there every step or he never stepped up, take a chair, sit with us, and let's have a talk. Now I'm sitting with a guy, with a man, a very brave man. Inyiko, it does not really go with it. Every time there's a brand that associates with a person. I'm sitting with Mr. Dynamix. He's our first guest for this particular episode. I thought of no one else to be part of their first episode because of what he's achieved, what he stood for, and what he fights for. Mr. Dynamix, please allow me to introduce yourself. Say, who is Nico Dynamix?
Wow, sometimes it's easy to have someone introduce you than to introduce yourself. But I'm honored to be the first guest on this show. I think this is befitting based on the things that we've done together in as far as fatherhood is concerned. So, like you said, my name is Nico, aka Mr. Dynamix. I go by Mr. Dynamix because Nico is who I am. It's how do I put this? So Mr. Dynamix is an alter ego. Mr. Dynamix is a personality that was deliberately created to achieve certain things. I was born Nico, but I became Mr. Dynamix. So all of us have that alter ego. Most people, they haven't just tapped into that. So Mr. Dynamix is what I tap into. Like, you have Peter Parker and Spider-Man. When he wants to do exploitive stuff, he become Spider-Man. You have Clark Kent and Superman. So Mr. Dynamix is that persona that has to accomplish something with the courage and the boldness and the determination, without fear or without being intimidated by anything that is before me. So yeah, that's basically who I am.
So where is Mr. Dynamix from? Where did he grow up?
Born in Kongo. It's a township in Greater Tzaneen municipality in the Mopane region. Kongo is a small town, very, very organized and very clean township. And yeah, that's where I was born.
So school, where did you go to school? Primary, high school, anything like that?
So in primary, I attended a primary school called Nkongoa Primary School. It was just 200 meters from my house. There was no fence during those times. I would just walk into the school, not even via the gate. There was no main gate back in the 80s. So just walk into school. And no.
But it's on the highway. It's on the main road.
It's on the main road, but they fenced the school. I think it's a year or soon after we left. Before then, it was not fenced.
Was there any accidents? I mean, I'm talking about kids being...
No. We never had such. We never had such. So even the traffic volume, remember back then, there were not a lot of cars like we have today. So the traffic volume was very low. If there was a car, there was one car on that street. So
and probably because I'm sure there was still very communal setup.
yes, exactly.
So people respected our kids are going to this school.
Yes.
We need to be there.
Yeah. So I would just go from my house, jump the street, go into the school for 4 years. Jump into the school, and that was it.
And then high school.
High school, I went to Hudson Tsangwesi. So we relocated to Giyani when I was doing standard 7. So by the end of
standard 7.
so by the time we, and I couldn't fake that. I couldn't fake that. I wish grade what would have come, but no. So standard 7. Then we moved to Giyani. So I did 1 year in Giyani in a high school called Ngobe. That was not my choice. I did that because when I was in Hudson, I chose commercial subject. But let me tell you the story when I got to high school. So I decided before I chose the subject that I did that I didn't want to work for anyone. That's why even today I haven't worked for anyone.
Wait, and what grade was that?
I was in standard 5.
It's not.
Standard 5 is grade 7. Yes.
It's not grade 7.
Yes.
Ani?
Yes.
Plus 2.
Yes, plus 2. Yeah. So I was in standard 5, what they call grade 7.
So how do you understand the concept of, I mean, you're a child. It's not 5. How old? Like
11,
13,
12.
14,
11, 12, yeah.
How do you now decide or know, Kuri, this is the path I want to go? Because remember, access of information back there, especially for black people, it was not that great. What triggered that? Kuri, I don't want to work for anyone.
Yeah, so in my book, A Life That Chose Me, I took time to go back to investigate that. Most of the time, we think we're in charge of what we become without understanding that our makeup dictates what we should do in life, even though you make choices in life. But the way we've been designed somehow will dictate what you need to do. Sure. Hence, you'll find yourself doing things that people don't consider to be lucrative, but you enjoy doing it because that's the life that chose you. So in my book, The Life That Chose You, I reflect on destiny. That destiny works in our life even when we're not aware of it. So, and I think one of the things that I used to pass by the CBD we'll call it bus stop. That's where it takes.
By High Point.
By High Point. So there was a guy who was fixing radios. He had his own shop. So I always wanted to be free. And I always wanted to do my own thing. So I wanted to do electronics actually. When I got to standard 6, grade 8, I wanted to do electronics. So by then by then they haven't introduced that. They had motor mechanic, the technical drawing. That was the first school in that region to introduce those technical subjects. Hudson. Yes.
Does it?
Yeah, that was the first school around there to introduce those technical subjects. There are people who are architect and artisans, others mechanic, because of the foundation that was laid in high school. So when I got there, I decided since they haven't introduced the electronics, let me do Let me do commercial subject, because I knew commercial subject were going to set me up to be an entrepreneur.
But that's what I'm saying, Kuri. How do you, at 13, 14, how do you think entrepreneur? Who are you seeing at home? Who's doing business at home? Or is it the guy that you're sitting with by High Point who's now introducing you to this particular?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things, but